Welcome to my channel, Hotspot with Loveth, the ultimate spot for all things entertainment, ranging from celebrity gists, reviews, interesting stories, and African folktales. Subscribe now. Prince Ifeanyi, the sole heir to the throne of Umunze, stood on the balcony of the Grand Palace, gazing out at the town that spread beneath him. The air was thick with the weight of expectation. As the only son of the Igwe, his life had been meticulously planned from birth. Every step he took, every word he spoke, was under constant scrutiny. But, despite the luxuries and power that came with his position, Ifeanyi felt a deep restlessness within him. He longed to break free from the gilded cage of royalty, to see the world not as a prince, but as an ordinary man. Determined to experience life beyond the palace walls, Ifeanyi devised a plan. He would disguise himself as a commoner, taking the name Chike, and live among the people of Umunze. Dressed in simple clothing with a cap pulled low over his eyes, he slipped away from the palace one early morning, leaving behind the opulence and security of his royal life. The bustling markets of Umunze were a world away from the quiet, ordered life of the palace. As Ifeanyi wandered through the narrow streets, marveling at the sights and sound of the marketplace, the vibrant colors of woven fabrics, the scent of freshly baked bread, the lively chatter of vendors and buyers. But it was here, amidst the noise and energy of the market, that he first encountered Adora, a strong-willed and independent woman who despises the royal family for what she perceives as their detachment from the struggles of the people. Adora was unlike any woman Ifeanyi had ever met. Her fiery spirit and sharp tongue set her apart from the reserved and deferential women of the court. She moved with purpose, her eyes flashing with determination as she bargained with a trader over the price of yams. Ifeanyi watched her from a distance, intrigued by her confidence and strength. But as he listened to her speak, he quickly realized that Adora harbored a deep resentment towards the royal family. To her, they were nothing more than distant rulers, indifferent to the struggles of the common people. She had no love for the monarchy, and her words cut deep into Ifeanyi's heart. Yet, there was something about Adora that drew him to her, a spark that ignited a curiosity within him. In that moment, Ifeanyi made a silent vow. He would know her, win her trust, and learn from her, even if it meant keeping his true identity hidden. As Ifeanyi, now Chike, settled into his new life among the commoners, he found himself irresistibly drawn to Adora. Her courage and compassion, qualities he had rarely encountered within the palace walls, left a lasting impression on him. Despite her sharp words against the royal family, she possessed a warmth and generosity that softened her edges. Chike admired the way she treated everyone with respect, no matter their station in life, and how she tirelessly worked to support her aging father in their modest farm. Eager to learn more about the life he had always been sheltered from, Chike offered to help Adora with the daily chores on the farm. Though surprised by his willingness, Adora accepted his help, and soon Chike found himself waking before dawn each day to join her in the fields. He worked alongside her, planting and harvesting crops, tending to the animals, and fetching water from the nearby stream. The work was grueling, far more demanding than anything he had ever done in the palace. But it was also deeply fulfilling. For the first time in his life, Chike felt truly connected to the land and the people who depended on it. As the days turned into weeks, a close bond began to form between Chike and Adora. She noticed his humility and kindness. He was different from the other men she knew. Gentle, more thoughtful, and she found herself opening up to him in ways she hadn't with anyone else. Chike in turn cherished these moments of intimacy. He listened to her stories of hardship and perseverance, learning not only about her life, but also about the struggles and hopes of the people of Umunze. Her perspective opened his eyes to the realities of life outside the palace, and he grew to respect and admire her even more. However, as Chike's relationship with Adora deepened, so did the anxiety within the palace. The Igwe was growing increasingly worried about his son's unexplained disappearance. The prince had left without a word, and despite the efforts of the palace guards and advisors, there had been no trace of him. The Igwe's concern was twofold. Not only was he worried for Ifeanyi's safety, but he also feared the implications of his son's absence. The kingdom needed its prince, and the longer Ifeanyi remained missing, the more vulnerable the monarchy appeared to those who might seek to challenge its authority. Unknown to the Igwe, his son was not lost, but rather he was found in the heart of a woman who had unknowingly captured his own. As Chike, Prince Ifeanyi had discovered a life far richer and more meaningful than the one he had known, but he was also treading a dangerous path. The more time he spent with Adora, the harder it became to keep his true identity hidden. And the more he realized that he was faced with an impossible choice, one that could alter the course of his life and the fate of the kingdom. As the festival of New Yams approached, the town of Umunze burst with excitement. The festival was a time-honored tradition, a celebration of the harvest and a moment of unity for the community. The streets were alive with activity as vendors set up stalls, musicians turned their instruments, and the aroma of roasting yams filled the air. For days, preparations has been underway, and now the entire town eagerly awaited the festivities. Even the Igwe was expected to make an appearance, adding a sense of importance to the event. Adora, like everyone else, was caught up in the excitement. She invited Chike to join her at the festival, a gesture that warmed his heart. Though he had attended countless royal events as Prince Ifeanyi, this festival held a different kind of significance for him. It was a celebration not of power and privilege, but of the people and their connection to the land. As the evening descended, the festival reached its peak. Chike and Adora wandered through the crowds, enjoying the music and laughter that filled the air. The rhythmic beats of the drums drew them to the center of the square, where people were dancing in joyous abandon. Without hesitation, Adora pulled Chike into the dance, their movements synchronized as if they had been dancing together all their lives. In that moment, surrounded by the vibrant energy of the festival, Chike felt a profound connection to Adora. Her laughter was infectious, her joy contagious, and he couldn't help but be swept away by the moment. However, the celebration also brought tension. As they rested from the dance, Adora's mood shifted and her usual disdain for the royal family surfaced. She spoke bitterly about the Igwe's expected appearance, criticizing the monarchy's detachment from the struggles of the common people. Her words, though spoken with conviction, struck Chike deeply. He understood her frustrations, having seen firsthand the challenges the people faced. But her harsh judgment of the royal family left him conflicted. For the first time since he had left the palace, Chike felt the weight of his secret pressing down on him. He cared deeply for Adora, but he knew that revealing his true identity could shatter the bond they had built. Torn between his love for her and his duty as the prince, Chike struggled to find a way to reconcile his two worlds. The festival, which had begun as a joyous celebration, now served as a poignant reminder of the choices that lay ahead. As the days passed, Chike found himself increasingly burdened by the secrets he carried. The closer he grew to Adora, the heavier the weight of his true identity became. Every laugh they shared, every moment of connection deepened his affection for her, but also deepened his guilt. He knew that the truth could change everything, but withholding it felt like a betrayal. Chike was torn between two worlds, the life he had come to cherish with Adora and the royal duty that awaited him. Back at the palace, the situation was growing dire. The Igwe's advisors, alarmed by the prince's prolonged absence, pressed the king to announce a public search for Ifeanyi. Whispers of unrest were beginning to circulate through the kingdom, and the advisors feared that without the prince, the stability of Umunze could be at risk. The Igwe, though reluctant to make his son's disappearance public, knew he could not delay much longer. As pressure mounted from all sides, Chike wrestled with an impossible choice. He longed to stay by Adora's side, to live the life of freedom and love he had discovered. Yet, the voice of duty called him back to the palace, where his responsibilities as the prince awaited. The burden of truth grew heavier with each passing day, and Chike knew that soon he would have to make a decision, one that could alter the course of his life and the future of Umunze forever. The atmosphere of Umunze grew tense as rumors about the missing prince spread like wildfire. The Igwe's men had begun their search, questioning villagers and combing through the town with a growing urgency. It was only a matter of time before they reached the farm where Chike had found solace. Feeling the walls of his secret closing in, Chike knew that the moment he had reached had arrived. He could no longer hide the truth from Adora. Summoning all his courage, Chike asked Adora to meet him by the stream where they often sought refuge from the day's work. As she arrived, he took her hands in his heart heavy with the burden of his confession. He revealed his true identity as Prince Ifeanyi, explaining his reasons for disguising himself and seeking to understand the lives of the common people. He spoke of his love for her, hoping she would see that his feelings were genuine despite the deception. But as the truth unfolded, Adora's face turned pale with shock and hurt. She felt deeply betrayed by the man she had come to trust and care for. To her, it seemed as though Chike had toyed with her emotions, using her kindness and vulnerability for his own gain. Her resentment towards the royal family now extended to Chike, whom she could no longer see as the humble, caring man she had fallen for. Heartbroken and unable to reconcile the love she felt with the betrayal she now experienced, Adora withdrew from Chike. Her once warm gaze now cold and distant. She walked away, leaving Chike devastated and alone by the stream. The pain of losing her cut deeper than he could have imagined, and the revelation of his true identity as Prince Ifeanyi had shattered the life he had come to cherish. Chike realized that in trying to bridge two worlds, he had lost the most precious thing to him, Adora's trust and love. The Igwe, now aware of his son's whereabouts, confronts him. Prince Ifeanyi is given an ultimatum: return to the palace and assume his duties, or remain in Umunze as a commoner, forsaking his birthright. Ifeanyi is torn between his love for Adora and his responsibility as the future king. He seeks advice from his mother, the queen, who shares her own story of sacrifice and duty. Prince Ifeanyi decides to seek counsel from the town's elders, who are known for their wisdom. The elders advise him to follow his heart, but warn him of the consequences of abandoning his royal duties. They reveal a prophecy about the future of Umunze, which places Ifeanyi at a crucial crossroads. The prophecy suggests that his decision will either bring prosperity or disaster to the town. Adora's heart was a storm of emotions as she wrestled with the truth about Chike, now revealed as Prince Ifeanyi. Her love for the man she thought she knew clashed with the anger and betrayal she felt towards the prince who had deceived her. Though her friends and family offered comfort, nothing could ease her turmoil. Seeking solace, Adora found herself at her mother's grave, a place of refuge and reflection. Kneeling before the simple marker, she whispered her sorrows and confusion, hoping to feel her mother's guiding presence. In that quiet moment, surrounded by memories, Adora sought the strength to reconcile her conflicting emotions and find the path forward. As the kingdom of Umunze grappled with the turmoil caused by Prince Ifeanyi's absence, a new and dangerous threat loomed on the horizon. A neighboring kingdom, long coveting Umunze's fertile lands and rich resources, saw the prince's disappearance as an opportunity to strike. Sensing weakness in the leadership, they began to mobilize their forces of invasion, aiming to exploit the kingdom's vulnerability. News of the impending threat reached the palace, and Ifeanyi, still reeling from the loss of Adora's trust, knew he had no choice but to return. His people needed him, and the safety of Umunze was at stake. Putting aside his personal anguish, Ifeanyi donned his royal garb once more and returned to the palace, prepared to defend his kingdom with everything he had. The sudden return of the prince and his swift actions to prepare for battle shocked the people of Umunze, including Adora. She watched from a distance as Ifeanyi took charge, his every move driven by a deep sense of duty and responsibility. The courage and dedication he displayed stirred something within her. She began to see the man she had loved in a new light, understanding for the first time the immense burden he carried as the future king. As the threat of war loomed, Adora's earlier judgments wavered. She realized that love and duty were not mutually exclusive, but could coexist within a person who was truly committed to both. In her heart, a new respect for Ifeanyi blossomed, alongside the love that had never truly faded. As the threat from the neighboring kingdom reached its climax, Umunze prepared for a battle that would determine its fate. The invaders, confident in their advantage, underestimated the resolve of the prince who had been absent from the kingdom. Prince Ifeanyi, having returned to his rightful place, took command of the defense with a fierce determination. He rallied his soldiers, strategically positioning them and inspiring them with courage and leadership. The battle that ensued was fierce, but Ifeanyi's presence transformed the tide in Umunze's favor. Amidst the chaos of war, Ifeanyi fought valiantly, his skills and bravery evident in every action. His leadership galvanized the troops and restored the confidence of the people. Under his command, the defenders of Umunze pushed back the invaders, ultimately securing a hard-won victory. The kingdom's survival was ensured, and Ifeanyi's worth as a leader and warrior
With the battle won,
Ifeanyi returned to Adora. The weight of his royal duties and the recent conflict had changed him, yet his love for her remained unchanged. Meeting her outside her family's home, he approached her not as a prince, but as the man who had once been her companion, Chike. He spoke with a sincerity that resonated deeply, explaining that while he was destined to become the Igwe and fulfill his responsibilities, he could not do so without her by his side. His words were a testament to the depth of his feelings and the genuine connection they had shared. Adora listened, her heart touched by the sincerity and courage Ifeanyi displayed. The prince she had seen as a deceiver now stood before her as a man who had proven his dedication to both his people and to her. She recognized the sacrifices he had made and the complexity of his position. Her anger and betrayal gave way to a profound understanding of his dual role, both as a leader and as someone deeply in love. Seeing the man she had fallen for now revealed in his true light, Adora found it within herself to forgive. She agreed to stand by Ifeanyi, her heart committed to him and their shared future. Together, they envisioned a new chapter for Umunze, one where the wisdom of the common people and the responsibilities of royalty would merge. With Adora's insights and Ifeanyi's leadership, they prepared to face the challenges ahead, ready to lead Umunze into a future where love and duty would harmoniously coexist.